Welcome to Where Passion Meets Purpose. I'm your host, Jen Mentesana. On this show, we help busy moms and entrepreneurs find more passion and purpose in their daily lives through inspiring stories and interviews. Welcome back, everyone, to Where Passion Meets Purpose. I am so inspired today to talk about this topic. I just came back from a weekend retreat that I hosted and facilitated at my home in the Santa Barbara County here in California. And it was such an incredible weekend. I'm just feeling exhilarated and motivated and inspired, and I'm floating on air because I spent the weekend with some incredible women who showed up exactly as they are, willing to do some great work, have some fun, laugh a little, cry a little. And we just inspired each other. And it was so amazing. And I just wanted to sit down and record today about what it means to surround yourself with incredible people who lift you up and let you shine exactly as you are. And I think it's so important, not even just in today's society, but when even as kids, like I look at my kids and I can see them when they're surrounded by other kids that build them up and lift them up and support them. They are so happy, and they trust that they're exactly who they're supposed to be in that environment. And then when they're surrounded by kids that maybe are threatened or don't see them for who they are, or have, identity issues themselves, my kids tend to retreat and not feel as good about themselves. So it's no different whether you're a child or a teenager or an adult, or 50 something years old. We all need to surround ourselves with people who lift us up, inspire us, and motivate us to do our very best work. And I think that's why I wanted to come to you today to talk about this topic, because I really do feel that one of the ways that you can become the most successful version of yourself is by surrounding yourself with the right people. I recently have really worked hard at spending more time with people that I admire, people that lift me up, that see me for who I am and see my talents and my gifts and allow me to shine as who I am, as opposed to try to dim my light. So it's super important that you do this, whether that be in business circles or with your friendships. Even at work, if you feel, and I know this is harder because you're forced sometimes to be in a space where you have to be around people that maybe don't allow you to feel that great. And I would tell you that in those moments, I would do what I could to kind of not allow them to kind of penetrate my energy. That's something that I learned a long time ago, is that when you're feeling really open and amazing and you're putting your light and your energy out there, there's people that we call energy vampires who don't know that they're doing it, but they're trying to suck the energy out of you because it's making them feel intimidated or maybe less than themselves. And so they may bring you down or say things that diminish your light and what you're trying to convey. And so in those cases, I would definitely recommend just kind of getting quiet and allowing your energy to be still, and to not evoke them too much, but not let them bring you down. And then just smile, acknowledge them, and then walk away. Because people like that are really trying to attach themselves to your energy because they're not feeling good about themselves. Another thing that I like to do is to also just step into trying to think about who they are and what they're coming from, and maybe bring some light to them and what you recognize in them as being a strength or positive, so that you start to give them joy and energy without them sucking it from you. That's a really challenging thing to do, and you have to be super aware in the moment. But for example, if you have someone who, you're telling a story, or you're, speaking, or you're, trying to explain something to someone, and they start to kind of nitpick at what you're saying, or try to take the light away from you or shine the light on themselves, just let them take the attention away, but don't let them take your energy. Just smile and be like listening and let them have their moment, because maybe they're needing it and right in that moment, and then allow them to continue without getting triggered. It's really hard to do, but if you're aware that it's happening, just let them do their thing, and then slow down and then smile and say, acknowledge them, say, yeah, that's a really good point, I hadn't thought about it that way, or thank you for bringing that to our attention, I appreciate it, and then continue on your path. If you stop the energy flow from them trying to take energy from you, then they can't do it and they can't bring you down. So that's just a little tip that I use when someone is trying to either steal my energy, there's an energy vampire trying to take my energy, um, or someone who just is, a naysayer. I just don't let them to come into my energy field at all. And I just kind of unconsciously and consciously block them from taking my energy. So that's one of the a little trick. But more importantly, as often as you can, put yourself in the rooms and the circles with the people that motivate you and inspire you. So one of the ways that you can do that is to find podcasts that you like and listen to, motivational topics that inspire you. You can also go to events and just be open to paying attention to the people that just kind of lift the room up and have positive energy, and have conversations with them, and be curious about what they do and what they spend their time doing and how they spend their day and who they connect with, and start to align yourself more with those people, because the more that you can do that, the more that they're going to elevate your energy. And as long as you're surrounding with those people yourself with those people continuously, it's a natural progression for you to start lifting your energy and becoming more like that yourself. And I mean, people all over the world do this. I mean, there is nobody at the top of the energy food chain. There are only people who resonate high on an energy level, and they're always looking for people to elevate them, to help them become higher on energy level. So it's one of those things where the more people that you can find that just have that natural ability to inspire and motivate, better for you, and continue to surround yourself with those people. The other thing I would suggest is joining a mastermind group. If there are people that you know that are in mastermind groups, ask them about it. Like, what is your experience? What do you do in a mastermind? What are the types of people that join a mastermind? What is it like? There's all different kinds of masterminds. And I think you can find the right fit for you. If you're someone who's, let's say, a stay-at-home mom who's just looking for more connection, and to be inspired more in their daily lives, find a mom's group. There's tons of groups on Facebook. Nowadays you can Google anything and find a local, mom's group that you can connect with more women that are looking to be inspired in their daily lives. There's all kinds of places you can do this. I'm thinking of like coaching programs, go to retreats, go to workshops, conferences in topics that inspire you and motivate you. And you don't have to be in a certain industry to go to these types of things. There's conferences and events all over the country where you can meet people that are super inspiring, that are doing amazing things, and that just being in their presence and their energy will lift you up and start to motivate you in a way that continues you along your day to want to be inspiring and motivating as well. The other thing is reading books. So the more books that you read about what people are doing and how they're learning and growing and evolving, the more that you can create that energy and then start to find people that resonate with that level of energy as well. So those are just a few tips in how you do that. I would also just like to add that it is super important, if you're feeling like there are people in your life that are maybe holding you back from who you are meant to be. This is completely normal. throughout our lives, as we grow and evolve and we go through situations and circumstances, things change us, and it's completely normal and natural. And if we were staying exactly as we were at 16 years old, that probably would mean that we haven't learned very much in our lifetime. So it's good to change, it's good to evolve, and it's good to grow. And so as you grow, there may be people in your life that feel uncomfortable about that growth because they're used to seeing you in a certain place and in a certain way, and that may be threatening to them. And what I would suggest here is that you don't allow yourself to be hindered by that. You may not want to lose the friendship because they're important people to you in your life and you care about them, but you also can't hold yourself back for their sake. So just because someone feels uncomfortable about your growth doesn't mean that it's not okay for you to grow, obviously. And so maybe you don't expose yourself as much to those people and your growth because you don't want them to feel threatened, but it doesn't mean you should dim your light. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't continue to go down this path. And if for some reason there is someone that's really not wanting to see you grow and shine, it may be time to take a little break from that relationship just so that you can get to a place where you're strong and you know that you're continuing down the path that you want. And once you're ready to kind of allow them into that space, then you can hold the space for them to be there with you, but not allowed to pull you down. So I think that's a really super important thing to pay attention to as you're growing and evolving, that if there's people in your life that are threatened by this, just be aware of it and make sure they're not holding you back from your true potential. And that could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be any kind of relationship. Just to be aware, because as I always say, we have innate gifts and talents to share with the world. And we are all on a different path to that journey of finding our true purpose in life. And sometimes it takes some longer than others to get there. And we may not all be growing and evolving at the same time. We definitely aren't. I can say that to be true, even in my own marriage, that, my husband and I have definitely gone through periods where I'm on a growth trajectory and I'm going through something and I'm kind of and I tend to be the type that wants to grow and get the lesson and go through it and evolve quicker. And I take it on head on, as he is more the type to kind of process and think about it and, take two steps forward and maybe hang out there for a little while. We have a running joke, and one of my business coaches used to say to me, you can't be pregnant and have the baby in 3 months. You have to go through pregnancy in the 9-10 month period. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I tend to want to, once I get that memo that I'm growing and evolving, I want to be okay, I got that one. Let's check that off the list and keep going. And that's not necessarily the way that things work either. So everybody has their process and everybody has and you're not always going to be on that same level as everybody in your life. And there are people that come into your life for a lifetime. There are people that come into your life for a season, for a reason. And then they're gone. And that's okay too. It doesn't mean that they weren't valuable to your life. And it doesn't mean that they aren't worthy of your friendship or a relationship or whatever it is. It's more about understanding that you're on your own path and they are on theirs. And you can't force anyone to be on your path, and they can't force you to be on theirs. So just remember that. I think it's sometimes really hard when you have people in your life that are really wanting you to be the same person that you've always been. And sometimes that's just not possible. You've changed too much. You've gone through too much. You've learned too much. You've had too much pain, and now you're on the other side of it, and that changes you. So it's really important to honor where you are exactly as you are, and trust that those relationships, if they're meant to be in your life forever, they will be. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I just wanted to really touch on how important it is to surround yourself with good people. There's a quote, I'm going to read it because I don't want to butcher it here. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So I love that quote. And I always say your tribe creates your vibe. So I kind of switch it around. But if you think about it this way, your tribe and the people who you surround yourself with, if you're open to it, can either elevate you or bring you down. Which one would you want in your life? All right, I'm going to leave you with that to think about. Thank you so much for joining me again this week and every week. And I can't wait for our next guest to be on. We've got some amazing guests lined up. So I'll be announcing those soon, but please go ahead and subscribe and download so you don't miss an episode. And we will see you soon. Thanks. Thank you again for listening to Where Passion Meets Purpose. If you're enjoying this show, please subscribe and download it so you don't miss an episode every single week. And if you think you have a friend who might benefit from listening, please share it with them as well. If you'd like to contact me, you can always reach me through email on my website at jenmentesana.com and my social media, Jen_Mentesana. And you can DM me there and I'll always respond, and we can connect about topics on the show or anything else you'd like to discuss. Thanks again for tuning in.